Right, so what I'm going to do first, just to introduce everyone to you,
All right.
is just what do you do at Guild? Who are you? And
Yeah.
what are you about? Really?
What am I about?
Yeah, what are you about? Well, give us an overview of you and your place in esports.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm a community manager at Guild, which basically just means I engage with the community. Every platform at the moment, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. I make memes. That's basically my job. Very proud of my Rocket League meme that went out the other week. Also, Valorant Observer, the VCTU. Currently not doing Masters, but I will be doing Red Bull Homeground at Gaming Sphere. Yes, exactly. And I'm like, you guys are there.
Yeah.
Came from uni scene actually for that. It's really weird. I like last year beta just doing 10-mans in Valorant, and now doing the top dog. That's where I'm at. That's who I am.
So in terms of gaming communities and stuff and engaging with the community, why do you feel that that's important for an esports company to do?
Well, like if you're not engaging with your community, you're basically missing out on such like a large portion of like esports is basically community. I think like it's like sports, right? Like sports is fine, but if you don't have the crowd, that's a totally different atmosphere. Like we saw with like the virtual crowds and whatever, it's just not the same as having an entire stadium there. And the same for esports, right? Like even if it's in your Twitch chat, a blessing and a curse at the same time, but still like there's such a good place to engage with, and especially if you tailor your brand in a way, like you engage with your community and like make like inside jokes. Like at the moment, an inside joke in our Discord is like to do with the guild socks for some reason. Everyone's obsessed with the guild socks, and everyone's like, yeah, but Harrison, could I get those guild socks? I'm like, bro, what's it with the socks, man? So now I just talk about the socks all the time, and everyone just brings up the socks every day. They're just like, so forget it, I get some socks. I'm like, well, maybe you can wait for something. Yeah, and like last night in the Twitch chat, when we were playing against LCQ, like just being guild is like, or being your brand is such a good way to just, I feel like it's important to not just be with like your community, but like the esports as a whole. Because I was engaging with just random people in the Twitch chat last night. Like everyone was just like, I said this quote unquote controversial thing, which is just like, that wasn't part of the plan, guys. Don't worry. And then I got so many replies which were just like, how's that plan going? And I was like, don't talk about it, guys. Oh my god. Yeah, like it's just keeping people engaged. Like we've been working on our Discord at the moment for Guild, and we did it on Discovery recently and everything, and just keeping the numbers up and getting to know people is so important, because then you can just engage much more on a personal level, which I think is what a lot of people want, to make it feel like my plan is not to make them like be just a fan, but feel like they are part of like the community that they're in. So like Guild isn't like the hierarchy, they are part of Guild and they are part of what makes Guild good, and that should be the same for like every company, I think, esports.
Yeah, each esports organisation, especially on Twitter and stuff, you see they all have their own personality, and seeing all these orgs just go at each other, especially in like Twitch chat and stuff, is the most hilarious thing ever.
It's so good, honestly. Like some days you're just like, oh, I've got this really trash meme I can send at like whoever I'm playing tonight, and you just sit there before matches and you're just like, can I think of any meme that would be so funny to trash talk the team? And I was thinking so hard yesterday for a Team Liquid meme, and I was just like, if we get to Breeze, I got a perfect meme. Such a perfect meme. Like Draken kept going on the flanks against SMB. I was like, perfect meme if we go on Breeze and he keeps doing the flank. It didn't happen. It's fine. I'll save it for Oxygen.
Rain. Yeah, you got to save the memes for a rainy day, just in case.
Exactly. I'm like, boys, 1 day break. This is meme day today. Like, I just run it through the social media managers, and I'm just like, guys, what do you think of this meme? And they're just like,
perfect. Good meme. I love how companies, because before, like, if you go back like 10 years, no company had personality at all on any social media.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know if it was Wendy's or something that started it.
But the Wendy's trend. I can't remember what that tweet was, but that was, I just remember seeing it.
They were just going off on everyone. And like, since then, I think companies have realised, you know what? It's not bad to have personality, which is
Yeah.
makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, like like not really competitive, but like you kind of trash talk each other in a friendly way, which is like you get at me, I'll get back at you kind of thing. And it's weird because like Wendy's is not something you would expect to be trash talking other brands, but like there's always like those times where what was it? There was like I think it was like a thing with Greg's or something where it was like, oh, you have like tomato sauce with like this really weird thing, and there's so just random Twitter accounts like I think NHS people came in and like, do you want to book an appointment? Are you okay? And like Wendy's reply, and I was just like, they're not like any related to like this at all, but they still reply, and it's kind of expanded. And I feel like most people just see it as like esports brands is like the main thing, but it's honestly like any social media manager could just be anybody. They can make it work on any platform. Especially Twitter is just the peak place to make it really trash talk.
It really is. Like, I remember during Game Changers, I was just going at it with the Rick's GG account back and forward, and they were just they were hilarious.
Rich GG guy, Harry destroyed me on social media. He was just atting me as guild, and I was like, I got nothing back.
Yeah, some of the stuff he was threatening me. He was saying,
was so fresh.
Yeah,
he was so quick. He hit me with the what was it? I think it was like the friends guy. He was like, get a load of this guy, and I was like, I've got nothing. I can't say anything back. I don't have a meme to reply. He's just got like a whole folder which is just the guild roasting, and I was like, I need a folder for Rick's GG roasting, and I'm like, I can't roast them yet because they get second.
No,
so I just need to.
Thank God we won, because that's all I had to stand on. Like, I was like, haha.
Yeah, you were gonna get that so hard.
Yeah,
if you didn't win.
I was literally just like, haha, we won. That's all I had though. If he would have come at me with anything, if we lost, I was like, well, I would have just deleted.
He had a
Twitter.
meme prepared. Yeah. There was no way. He had a meme prepared. He was so ready. He was like, please win, please win. Oh my God. I was just hoping that they won a little bit. I wanted to see what meme he had.
Oh yeah. You know what? Next time I'll tell the team to just let them win a bit more, so the memes can come out.
Just to see the memes that he's got. Honest to God, he must have a folder for every team. There's no way he's that prepared. He scares me. No man should have that much power.
How did you feel the first Game Changers went as like an event? Well, the
as an event,
yeah.
Interesting. I'm surprised we didn't take it from NA's format. NA's format is really good. Like not having double elim was really weird. And also, I know the budget's low, but like not streaming every game. Well, not like you just can't stream every game, but like until Saturday even was really
the semis,
weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Yeah, and we were just like, oh well, what's happening? And we're like, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like we don't know how Guild performed when we lost against. I can't remember who we lost against. I've cast it out. But like we don't know how we went, or like we don't know how any of the games went up until Saturday, and it's like anything could have happened. And even though they got highlights, I think from the quarterfinals, I was like, well, why didn't we get any from like the round of 16? I don't know. Like, and we were like, we would volunteer observe just to get more like exposure and kind of just content for the game women's scene.
There's no reason not to stream them.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone was just like, we'll do it for free. We just want to like give more to the women. So we're kind of hoping that they'll change that. Like, just give us permission, because we were fully prepared. Like, Guild, like Customer Observer as well. We could easily do it internally, so easily, for us to stream our games. It's like, just give us a permission, we'll do it. Like, and I'm sure loads of other orgs could do it as well. Like, it's not hard. No,
it just feels like they were kind of saying, okay, there's been so much kind of talk about it. Well, we have to do an EMEA Game Changers, but they didn't want to put too much into it. Any budget or anything like that, which is just a shame, really. So hopefully the next one, which is quite soon, now that they've changed it from mixed teams as well now, which
I think that was a good decision.
That was a good decision.
I understand like that they want to keep it, that they want to move to mixed eventually, but as everyone said, like way too soon.
Yeah, give the girls time to establish their own scene, make the name for themselves, show them what they can do, and then mix them. Don't go, okay, well, you've had your one event, main him.
Yeah, I mean, they changed it quick as well. Like, it was like 3 days after. I was like, nice, good job, guys. Thank you. Good job, Riot, for listening. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Riot Games, I have more qualms with them, especially League. hate that game. Well, I love that game, hate that game. But in terms of community support, they've always been like straight on it.
Bro, they're just so quick with like any format change. Like same as with Berlin, right? Like they were like, oh, you guys clearly don't like the format Berlin. That's a real bad idea. Oh, we changed it in a week, and everyone's just like, thank you. Like how quick? Wasn't that hard? You know, like thank you. Yeah, and then they did it with Game Changers, and now, well, hopefully, well, they're really good listening to community feedback.
Yeah.
I don't know who does it right, but like, applause, good job.
In terms of observing and stuff like that, how difficult is it? Like, what is the process of that?
Okay, all right. This is a conversation I've had many times. I often refer to it as enjoyably stressful, because it's fun, right? Like you're like, oh, we've got all these 10 people like on the pitch or map or whatever, and you're like, oh, I got to make sure that I capture like the story is something that most people don't like. Every time someone's like, I want to get into observing, I'm like, okay, number one, you don't have to get every single kill. You can't get it, so stop holding yourself to getting every single kill. Because if you get every single kill, if you get it in a round, you're balling with yourself. You're like, I'm so good at this game. But it's also partial luck that you get it, because you just hope that the people who should win the aim duels should win, and if they don't, you're just like, how? My guy, you had a free kill and you miss. But yeah, like story, like my style of observing is story over kills, and I think a lot of that is as well. Like especially if you're just a single POV as well. Like if it's just single observer, it's even harder. Like VCT right now, Mel and Luke are doing it. So Mel's doing like the whole cinematic thing. Mel and Luke are like doing so well right now. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, Mel, that was such a good transition. Like sick. That was such a good cinematic. That was a really good one where they're really good with Astral Walls at the moment. And all I can think is that when me and Jay do home ground, I'm like, okay, we got to meet the standard, bro. Like Mel and Luke are like doing the standard for VCT. I'm like, okay, we gotta get there.
That's a tough standard.
Well, yeah, like I mean, we're all really good friends, but it's just like competitive stuff. Like we don't really have like duos in EU. Also, VCT EU, nobody likes cinematics. Okay, we're all POV observers, and we're all like, oh, I want to fly around a map. I want to catch the kills. So Mel doesn't really do cinematics at all, but she's doing really well right now for her cinematics, which is a challenge in of itself. As like any VC, I think any observer will say, because you gotta time it well with your POV guy as well as what's happening, because you have to cut just before. Because the feedback that I got from some people is like, you always want to see the first person kills more than the third person, even if that person loses the duels, which is something I used to do, and then everyone's just like, you probably stop that thing, like, okay, change, fine, I'll do that. It comes with another thing while we're talking about observing. This is sorry, I'm going to like a full thing, but I'm so passionate about this. Is like it depends on the games. Like was it Liquid 13 or OBG? I think was it OBG? I think it was OBG. Like one-sided games are so much more harder to observe than people think. Like oh, you just watch one team. I'm like, no, bro, that's not the point. Like they could win a round, and you got to make sure you capture it. Or like what was it? Yeah, like Navera's pistol ace on the very first round that you ever played. Nobody gets aces on pistols, guys. Nobody. So how am I supposed to predict like that he gets an ace? Like nobody gets an ace, but then again, it's Navera, so of course he does. Yeah, and like Luke was like beating himself up about it, but it's like at the same time, there's no way he could predict it. Like, sorry guys, we can't tell the future, you know. So if you want to tell the future and tell us that he gets an ace on the pistol round, that's fine. Just come back in the past and tell us, and we'll know. We'll watch him. Yeah, the joys of observing is missing it. And then, what was it on Twitter? Everyone's like, "Oh, if you could hear that, Trent, I apologize right now." Is like people don't say anything when you're doing really good, but as soon as you do one thing wrong, they notice it, and you're like, "Well, Mel worked it out that they did really well, and the one round that they missed, which was the first round, was less than 1% of the entire rounds they observed on that day." And I'm like, that's the point. Like, people notice the one little thing that you do wrong, but it's literally such a small margin that, like, it doesn't even matter.
No. Like, people don't realise, probably, that there's even people behind it that don't think about it when they're watching it.
Well, yeah, like, people just somehow assume that you're just capturing the kills, and you're just like, oh, somebody's doing that job. Oh, my God. And, like, that's so cool. Yeah, but it's stressful.
I can imagine. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd miss. I'd literally miss like one thing, and I'd be like, oh, I'm done. I can't do this.
Yeah,
It's
I did a little thing with like Bosa's community, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to observe?" And they were like, "I'll observe." And they were just like, "How do you do this? This is so stressful." And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I into like a different zone. Like, I could kind of do it. Like, sometimes I do it one-handed if I'm eating, and I'm like just pressing all buttons at the same time. I'm like, yeah, I'm just eating while I observe. It's fine, guys. Don't worry about it.
definitely not a job for me. I'll leave that to other people, I think.
I got you, bro. Don't you worry. We got you covered.
I saw on you. This is completely random from gaming at all, but I saw on your thing, Tesla, that you like Teslas.
Oh, all right. All right. This is like a year long. This is years ago. Like, it's not just like a recent thing. All right. I'm like, it's not just like Teslas as well. It's like electric cars just in general. I'm like a big fan of. Like obviously there's like loads of like combustion engine cars. I'm like, it's nice. Like Ford Mustang. Oh, any day of the week. But my God, their miles per gallon that suck. Like, goodbye petrol or whatever. But like electric cars for me, I always said that my first car I would try and get electric. Oh my God. But my family were like, if you get a Nissan Leaf, like the old one, which looks like trash. Sorry, Nissan, but it's really bad.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm not getting in your car. I'm like, okay, just don't drive. It's fine. But electric cars in general, big fan. Love it. Infrastructure's not there yet. Not a problem. It'll get there. But Tesla infrastructure, just way better, to be honest.
Have you had a chance to drive one?
I haven't driven one, but I did go in like a 90D like experience thing on like a test track. I was freaking sick. And I can't believe that wasn't even the most powerful one. And like I thought that was quick, and I don't know how quick Plaid is, but oh my God, like that must be so cool. I just want a Plaid to like come to the UK so we can. I just want to get in, and I want someone to just do 0 to 60 so I can like get whiplash in a chair. That'd be perfect.
I do love Teslas, like just aesthetically, like
Everyone
outside
says they
in.
look.
Yeah,
like my parents are not a big fan of the minimal thing, but they're like, oh, it's just a screen. I'm like, everyone's. One thing I read is like, but what if we all started with screens? We'd find it weird if we had buttons in the car. So it's just like an entirely different way of thinking. But overall, I'd quite like it. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I like minimal aesthetic anyway. Hence, no posters in the room.
I was going to mention that. Is all the walls just bare? Every wall?
I have a single Rocket League poster, which is over here. But I just don't like sticking stuff on walls. But I have like a very specific poster type that I like, so I don't really find many. I'd have to make it myself. I'm like, not yet. I'm more of like a Windows guy. I like Windows.
Get you in trouble as well. I remember I stuck a load of stuff up at uni, and I got in a bit of trouble for the blue tack getting.
Oh yeah, I'm like, what if I put it on and then it just crashed? I'm like, don't want to do that.
No,
I would rather not get fined. Like, I'm gonna pin it of it. That's really no. Last year, this is like slightly off topic. Like, my landlord was like, if you take the paint off, you're painting the wall, and I'm like, I'm paying for the paint and I have to paint it myself. And I was like, I'm not sticking anything on the wall. I ain't taking that risk. Like, why would I was like, I'm not paying for a whole tub of paint for like this little tiny section where I took it off with blue tack.
So, in terms of how did you get into Guild? In terms of that, like, did you get in contact with them or?
Well, before I like officially worked for Guild, I did like community game nights because a mod asked me if I wanted to be a mod because I was enthusiastic and I was like always there. So I did that, and then I was like, oh, what if we do community game nights, which was good, but the Guild Discord community isn't like quite as active yet, so we're working on building that up now. And then before they put public, I got asked directly like, do you want to do it? Which was really, it was on a really random morning in the Twitter DM, and I was like, sure, we can call about that. Like, it was such like, it was like probably one of the weirdest ways I've ever got asked for a job, was just via a Twitter DM, and I was like, yeah, I'll go for it, let's go. Like, admittedly not really done like a full community manager role before, but I'm enjoying it so much. Like, the challenges of just how to engage with like different communities is so fun. and then just bring up the Discord right now to hopefully do more game nights would be sick, because I see it in other Discord servers and I'm like, oh, I want that to be us. We can get there, but it's a slow burn.
Has the sponsorship with Subway in any way? I think you know what I'm gonna. Do you get any free Subways? Does anyone get any free Subways?
No, we don't. No,
No.
I don't get free anything. Like guild merch, we still have to pay for ourselves as well. We get discount, but we still have to pay for it. Subway. I think if we do like maybe like an event or something, we have to like talk with them a little bit. All I've been told is Subway are really hard to deal with, because this is Subway's first like esports partnership, so they're not really used to how to do esports partnerships. So I was told if you could avoid Subway. But I'm always like, but people like Subway, so like it's because they don't really do like vouchers or anything, so it's really hard to just give stuff away for Subway. Might as well just be like, here's 20 quid, go buy a Subway. But yeah, I mean, like, I've never had a Subway at all as well, and everyone finds that surprising.
You've never had a Subway?
No, I just don't. I just think sandwiches aren't really my thing from Subway. But I've been told the meatball sub is really good.
It is.
And I'd probably get it. Like, a meatball sub just sounds good anyway.
If you do ever get to the point where they offer you a free sub, then definitely.
Oh yeah, if they offer me a free sub, I'm like, meatball, we're going all in. It's like everyone's hyped it up, and it sounds pretty good anyway. So meatball sub, 100%.
If you were speaking to someone who wanted to get into kind of what you're doing, or just the esports scene in general, like what advice would you give to someone?
Volunteer. As much as it's trash, you're not getting paid. It's like the good way to get experience. I started off with everything was volunteer. Like observing, I just did it for free for Valorant anyway. It was literally like, oh, you want to try observing? Valorant was like, yeah, go on then. Did that for like 2 months, like 2 months of straight volunteering, so many hours, and then I got my first paid gig for Valorant. Like, you'll get something eventually. You could be volunteering for a year before you get anything, but it's more about the experience that you gain in that volunteer role. So like, don't just accept anything. I would say make sure it's something with a company that you like, and the values that align with yours as well. Also, make sure they're not a trash company, because some trash companies will absolutely exploit you. Make sure they don't exploit you. That's a very important thing. Like, make sure it's good volunteer work for something you enjoy, for something you like. Make the most out of it. Then you've got experience. You'll be like, oh, I worked for this company and I did this. And then people are like, oh, do you want to do that? But you could get paid for it. And there you go. You're in. Even if it's like a little part-time job, you've got it. You've made the experience.
Guild seems like, from when I've spoke to people in Guild and stuff to do that, similar to TENSTAR, similar to a lot of orgs I see, like not small, but smaller orgs. They seem very close-knit in terms of community people and stuff like that, and the fans and stuff. There seems to be a proper community there. Do you think in massive orgs like Fnatic, for example, I imagine it's a lot harder to manage the community and stuff? Easier in a way in terms of you've got the audience, but how are you supposed to individually reach?
Well, yeah, like, so I looked at like other orgs, like servers or whatever. Like if we just take Fnatic as an example, since you mentioned it, like I think they're in League, Valorant, CS:GO. What else in? I am in the Fnatic server. What have they got? Where's their list of games? Do they not have a list of games? Okay, cool. Cheers, guys. Very useful. Yeah, like they've got like so many games that they're in, which is easy. Like, oh, Fnatic in the chat. So many Fnatic fans in the chat. You know, like, oh, people will talk about it loads. But then again, Fnatic have been around for ages, like longer than Guild, longer than TENSTAR, and it's like their servers are just like 10 times as large as Guild's, which isn't really an issue. But it's it's not specifically harder to tailor, but I think you're reaching such a larger audience for each game as well as general, that I think being more personal is a little bit harder. So you just kind of generalize your stuff. Like, I don't know, they do stuff like they have like weekly challenges or whatever, which is a really good idea. So they change like different games and stuff. Like, they may do like a CS:GO thing. Like, I think they're surfing or something with like, you could win like some beef jerky or something, stuff like that, which is really cool because their CS:GO, like CS:GO is just a huge scene anyway. So they've got like a huge fan base, so they can do that. But then like if we bring it back to like Guild 10-star level, like because the community is such smaller, I think you know more and more people on a personal level. Bring it back to the guild socks. I swear to God, so many guild socks. And then I can talk to people more personally about like, oh, how did this go the other day? Or like, oh, did you get this done? How was your exam? Which I think is a little bit harder in the larger servers, especially because I assume they'll be a lot more busy than what I am, because they have so many more scenes to cater to. Because I know some have specific community managers, I think, for games, but I think most have just generalized as community manager for everything. So they'll have a lot more work for like League of Legends, like CS:GO, Valorant. Like, so they're entirely different scenes. So you've got to make sure that you tap to like each game specifically.
Definitely. Again, a job that no, I won't be able to do that.
No, I think it ties into like the enjoyably stressful part. Like you're like, oh, this is really cool, and then you've got to like, oh, how you've been doing Valorant, and you're like, oh man, how do I do like League of Legends? Like, and like I'm not strong in like our Fortnite and FIFA scene. I don't do those games, but like I've had to learn like stuff about like the Fortnite competitive scene, and I'm like, I don't know anything, bro. But I gotta try and make that effort to do like memes or like talking to people about it, even if it's not my scene.
Have you spoke to your parents and your friends and family in general about esports? Like, what are their understanding of it? And
Yes, my parent. Well, I started doing observing like when they found it was like more like oh, he's doing really well in it. Like they would just, it took them months to figure out like what's observing again, and they were just like, oh, and now they explain it to like their co-workers and friends. They're like, oh, he works in esports, and their first question, what's esports? What's that? So they explain that, but they have a pretty good understanding of it right now. They don't think the community manager role is a little bit harder for them to understand, because I'm like, oh, this is like my job. They understand observing way better. Like they're just like, oh, he's working, he's just in game or whatever. Like outside of like the close family, nobody has any idea. Like every time, like, oh, what's Harrison doing? Like working in esports. Like we had like a family meal, and I had to explain like what guild was, what esports was, and they were just, I was like, what games do you play? Let me explain it in your context. And he was like, oh, I play like Call of Duty, and I'm like, okay, there's like a Call of Duty competitive thing, you can earn money. That's esports. There you go. And I was like, I do it for other games. I work for Guild. Every time someone asks about Guild, I'm just like, it's owned by David Beckham. So you know, there's a there you go. You guys know David Beckham. It's good enough. It's good enough.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single person that's not going to go, David Beckham, who? Who's David Beckham?
Yeah, exactly. They were just like, oh, you're David Beckham? Yeah. Like, oh, I went to uni like on Monday, and they were just like, oh, just to introduce yourself real quick. And I went, oh, I work for Guild, and everyone just went, you got his number? And I was like, yeah, guys, text him every day. Look at me, daily. We're like, you're right, David. Yeah, cool, nice. Here's my plans for this week. Nice. Oh, it's going well.
Do you know is he hands-on at all? Is he at any events or anything like that, or
events? No, he's very hands-on with our academy, because that's why we have an academy, because he was very much into like football academy, but like we do for esports. So it's like building like the future stars. So I think they have like pretty regular meetings about it, about which direction it's going, how it's going, if he can do anything. He's involved, but obviously he's still a very busy man, so I get him every day.
No, he's got about 50,000 other
yep.
things he's involved with. In terms of Valorant as well, just as a scene, as an esports scene, do you feel it's going to keep growing to a point where it's on par with, say, a CS, a League, or do you feel it's going to stay at the kind of mid-round it's on at the moment, which is like, it's not a small esport, it's not a big esport,
yeah,
but it's there. Do you think it'll stay or grow?
I think it'll grow. I mean, considering it's barely been out, like a year and a half, it's doing pretty well. Which I think is helped by its Riot games or whatever. Yeah. Like when it came out, Orgs invested so quickly because it was Riot. Like if a game came out this and it wasn't Riot, I don't think Orgs. I think Fnatic picked like a team I think Fnatic picked a team in like 2 weeks or something, like super early before an esports scene was ever announced. But we all knew there was going to be an esports scene, and I think there'll only be more and more well-known Orgs that just join it. like having Team Liquid Fnatic in the EU already is huge, and then like NA have like all the really big ones, and I think just more and more will get into it, especially with Game Changers as well, because there's all the rumors about like I think on Wikipedia there's a rumor about G2 signing a female team, which would be big as well.
The CS:GO team, can't remember what they're called. XSET.
Yeah.
Is it XSET? Can't remember.
Oh my god, I think they were an onside team, and they were going to take.
Yeah, we beat
Anna
them in the semis. I think it's the team we beat in the semis.
Yeah, like so G2 are going to join that, which then is another big thing for Valorant scene, like for the women's side. And then there's just a lot of like large orgs that could easily join it, and I think a lot of them are looking at how this first season is going, and then they're like, oh, we should get involved, like, because I think a lot of people are like ex-CS players, and CS isn't like a scene that I know very well, but every time I talk to people, just like, oh, he's an ex-CS player. I'm like, so that's why he's so good.
Yeah, it's literally like every single one of our female players pretty much are just like, oh yeah, I played CS, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, that brings even more fans over. Like, I think, was it like on Sentinel, like Shazam was a huge CS player. And he plays Valorant. Every Shazam fan has just gone, wow, it's basically CSGO, but with abilities. So I'll watch him. And because it's Shazam, I'll watch him. And then that's like the same across the board. Like, so many people come from CS, and so everyone just starts watching it. And I think that'll just continue to happen as like more and more orgs just get involved. Because even like EU is already packed with talent and orgs that are absolutely tight knit and so competitive, and I think more and more will want to get into that. Especially, I think the CIS and the Turkish scene are huge, especially the Turkish scene. So I think more will want in the Turkish scene as well, because I don't know why Turkish people love Valorant, but my god, very popular.
They seem to love Valorant, yeah. France and Turkey seem to be the two where like Valorant massive.
The French people are insane. Like, well, yeah, like where when you guys won Game Changers, I was like, they're so loud.
Oh my god, Nelo. Oh, I was sitting there like typing up when I was writing the winning kind of post for the website. I didn't even write a losing one because I was like, okay, these girls are so confident. I was like, I don't want to jinx or anything. I'm not even going to bother writing a losing one. So I wrote the winning one, and as I was typing it up, like just to find a little bit to post it, she got up, started. I promise you, I nearly jumped out of my skin. It was the loudest thing I've ever. Like, I left the room after that. I was like, I can't deal with it. Every round, I was just like, ah. It was horrible. But boot camp is mental. In terms of how much it motivates players.
Being in the same room is insane.
I'm hoping it does the same for our male team as well in Red Bull and LVP, because our male team, I'd say, are top tier 2, breaking into tier 1. They can give tier 1 teams a game, maybe even take a game off them. Yeah,
easy, bro. VCT Challengers 3, easy.
But just missing that little bit to get like the big gambits, and I think a boot camp might push. Well,
yeah, I mean, like they're still like new or whatever. Like they were never going to be like if they won. My God, everyone was like, all right, bow down, cool, new kings. But like they did like so well considering how new they were. Like I think when we saw them in like qualifiers, we were like, this team's going to go far. And then next challenges, everyone was like, they went far, boys. They took down some banging teams, and we were just like, who are these? I know our boy Twiggy, he was on the hype train, and I was like, all right, I'll see how they go. I'm on the hype train. I'm joining. I'm like Guild and TENSTAR hype train.
That was pretty much like the main reason the first one of these I did was with Twiggy, because from the beginning Twiggy was like 10-star hype from not the first.
He believed. I was like, all right, Twiggy, I see you. It's the Twiggy buff.
It is a Twiggy buff. We need him to believe in every event from now on. We should bring him to the boot camp as a good luck charm.
Oh my God. Just screaming at everybody like, you guys, let's go.
He's a great guy. I love him. So, right. Do you have any plugs? Any upcoming stuff that you want to plug across? Any socials? Anything like that? Now's your chance.
Any socials? Well, guys, you can just follow me on Twitter at Hariboe with 2 E's. because I can't get one yet.
We'll get up a graphic. We'll get up a graphic over here.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
Woo, nice graphic, guys. Yeah, just follow me on Twitter. That's like the only social plug that I use. Instagram is too, so you guys don't need to see that. It's fine. All the weird stuff goes. And anyway, I post banger memes. Banger memes.
Why would you not want to see banging memes?
Exactly, and I just scream it when Guild wins. Well, so
yeah, I feel honestly the competitive Valorant scene has brought back my when I watch football, I feel the same. And this is what I don't understand when people say, "Oh, esports isn't a sport," and I'm like, "Well, then why does it make me feel exactly the same as sport?"
I went to like Rocket League's like last line before the pandemic. My God, I lost my mind. Like I was screaming like unconditionally. I was like, "Guys, I need a strepsil. Guys, help me. I need some drinks. I need some water." Like that was an unmatched feeling. Like I don't even care who I'm rooting for. Like even if your team doesn't make it to the finals, I don't even care. Like it's just good. It's just everyone's competitive. Nobody cares. Like environment. Like somebody like kills like super sick. You're just like,
oh my God, bro. Yeah. It's absolutely mental.
I think the first time we get like a proper Valorant LAN with audience, it's going to be top tier.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Like I think once LANs come back, Valorant like will just like slowly creep up to like CS level. Like maybe not like huge shots in, but like the vibes will be exactly the same. Because Valorant is becoming so predictable. Like this last chance qualify, anybody could win. I think.
No,
like
I
obviously
love it,
there's the favorites. Like G2 should be arguably the best team from there to win because they literally beat Sentinels, but then they lost on Icebox, which is their map. So it's like, how does that make any sense? It doesn't. It makes no sense. And then, like, Liquid are also really good with Nevera, but like Nevera could have not been performing but ease, so they could win as well. But like then again, Guild could pull out some absolute wild stuff. We could win as well. It doesn't matter. Like, what a scene.
I did get quite annoyed by Guild because I think you've just pulled ahead of us now in the EU rankings. Like, but I think you've just moved one place above us.
Let's go, boys.
Not just down to 8th. And I was like, oh, okay then, right. I was like, I love Guild and everything.
Oh, so it's just gonna be the TENSTAR v Guild game when
coming soon, hopefully, sometime.
Gonna have to get some banger memes.
Guild, you're at Red Bull, aren't you, Guild?
No, we were. The story behind that is we actually said we weren't doing it, but then Red Bull were like, oh well, we're still gonna post it anyway, and we were just like, okay. So it looked like we were doing it, but then the post saying that we weren't doing it was late, even though we said we weren't doing it before the original post went out. Like when I asked Grant about it, I was like, Grant, I didn't know we were doing Hog Granny, and he went, neither did I. And I was like, okay. So if our director for esports didn't know we were doing it, I'm like, well, guess we ain't doing it. Kind of sad because I didn't know if like it would have been cool to observe them, but I think we're gonna take that break.
Probably needed, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a full rework will be in. Oh well, before next VCT season, people will just take breaks and restructure.
Right, that is everything then. Thank you very much for talking to me.
You know what? Thank you. This has just been me talking about my passions.
Yeah, this is what people want. Get people in.
Perfect.
Yeah. honestly, this is. I enjoy this more than anything as well. I just get to sit here and listen to
people just absolutely talk their minds out, and you're like, oh, esports so cool, bro. Hey guys, if you want to join esports, I'd recommend 10 out of 10.
10 out
good
of 10.
Good scene. Chaotic, but stressful. It's good.
Like nothing else. Like no other job.
Unmatched.
That's the final thing. Then everybody out there, get into esports.
Agreed.